his sister could talk the hind legs of an elephant. 10 o'clock, one Monday morning, Mr. Happy strolled into the Happy to Lend-You Bank in the middle of the Happy Town. Good morning, he said cheerfully. This is Mr. Happy.今天我们就来读一本睡前读物，小话痨，小话痨 Little Miss Chatterbox, Little Miss Chatterbox, 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 Little Miss Chatterbox. 那我们就开始吧。Little Miss Chatterbox talked more than a lot. Little Miss Chatterbox talked more than a lot. She talked all the time. She talked all the time. All the time, all the time, all the time. Day in and day out. Week after week. Month after month. Year in and year out. She never stopped. She didn't know it, but she even talked in her sleep. In her sleep. She had a brother. I bet you can guess what his name was. Can't you? That's right. Mr. Chatterbox. Mr. Chatterbox. Miss Chatterbox. You should have heard them when they got together. You couldn't get a word in edgeways or sideways or anyways. Have you ever heard about somebody being able to talk the hind leg of a donkey? Well, Mr. Chatterbox could talk about the hind legs of a donkey. Mr. Chatterbox could talk about the hind legs of a donkey. And his sister could talk the hind legs of an elephant. Elephant, elephant, elephant. Now, this story is about the time Miss Chatterbox decided to get herself a job, which she did in a bank in Happy Line. The more we get together, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. Little Miss Chatterbox. At 10 o'clock one Monday morning, Mr. Happy strolled into the Happy to Lend Bank in the middle of the Happy Town. He took out his checkbook, wrote the check, and went to the counter. Behind the counter, on her first morning at work, stood little Miss Chatterbox. She smiled at Mr. Happy. She smiled. She smiled at Mr. Happy. Mr. Happy smiled back. Good morning, he said, cheerfully. Good morning, he said. Good morning, he said, cheerfully. Well, said Mr. Chatterbox, taking a deep breath. This is Mr. Happy. For the time of year, it is a good morning, but not as good as the morning we had yesterday. And I dare say tomorrow morning will be an even better morning, but it's quite a good morning for Monday morning, and it went on and on until it was time for the bank to shut. Mr. Happy was still standing there with his mouth open in amazement. She'd been there for hours. And now, continued little Miss Chatterbox, it's time for the bank to shut and time for me to go home, so goodbye and nice talking to you. And she went home, leaving poor Mr. Happy without any money. The following morning, she was fired. She got herself another job in a restaurant. They ate a lot. It was Tuesday morning, and at midday, Mr. Grady walked into the restaurant and sat himself down at his usual corner table. He always ate there on Tuesdays because that was the day they served extra large portions. This is Mr. Grady. The waitress came up to take his order. What's the soup of the day? Mr. Grady asked the waitress. He asked the waitress. Well, said Miss Chatterbox, for she was the waitress. The soup of the day is tomato, but we also have some soups on the menu, such as oxtail and vegetable and chicken chicken noodle, but we have lots of other things to start with, such as... And she went on and on and on until midnight. Mr. Grady was still sitting there, listening in amazement. He'd been there for 12 hours, listening. 12 hours, listening. And now, continued little Miss Chatterbox, it's time for the Eat-A-Lot restaurant to shut, and for me to go home. So, goodbye, and nice talking to you, and she went on, leaving Mr. Grady feeling rather empty. Poor Mr. Grady. The next morning, she was fired. The same thing happened all week long. On Thursday morning, she was fired from her job as an assistant in a hat shop. Miss Splendid, Miss Splendid, Splendid, Splendid went into the shop to buy herself a new hat, but she couldn't. Oh, madam, I've just a hat for you, and I know you're going to love it because it's pink, and pink is your color, and it was all talk and no hat. On Friday morning, she was fired from her job as a secretary to Mr. Aberdeen. Mr. Aberdeen, incidentally, was the richest man in the world. I just thought you'd like to know, but Mr. Aberdeen didn't make any money the day that little Miss Chatterbox was working for him. Oh no. Oh, Mr. Aberdeen, I've never worked in an office before, and isn't it exciting? And would you like a cup of coffee? And are you as rich as everybody says you are? And it's... Blah, blah. It was all talk and no work. But this story has a happy ending, because at the very end of that, little Miss Chatterbox managed to find herself a job that suited her down to the ground and up to the sky. That Saturday evening, Mr. Chatterbox was at home in Chatterbox Cottage. Chatterbox Cottage, which was where he lived. Mr. Chatterbox was cross because his funny, thought Mr. Chatterbox to himself. That sounds just like my sister.